Hello guys, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a few signs that God is going to do something big in your life. Usually when something unexpected yet life-changing in the best way is about to happen to me, these things tend to happen. Sometimes it's all of these things, sometimes it's one of these things. I believe that God communicates with us in a very personal way. Whenever something happens to me or whenever I see a sign, there's this innate feeling within my spirit that lets me know this is God. This is God letting me know that everything's going to be okay, that I'm going to be okay. This is God letting me know that He is present and that as long as I continue to be a good steward and a good daughter, that He will fulfill the things that I need. So without further ado, we are going to jump right into these signs. So one of the telltale signs that God is about to do something big in your life is that you start to see coincidences. And by coincidences, I mean maybe you hear a message from an unlikely source that kind of aligns with something that you may be going through in your life. Or maybe you keep seeing things in repetition, like the same verse over and over again. Or out of the blue, someone decides to do a random good deed for you. Maybe someone decided to pay for your coffee in the drive-thru. And I use air quotes when I say coincidence because I genuinely believe that there is no such thing as a coincidence. Romans 8:28. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to His purpose. What I love about this verse is that it lets me know that no matter what happens, whether it's good or bad, at the end of the day, I have something to take from it. There's a silver lining or something that God wants me to take from that situation. Like I said, whether it's positive or negative. So tune into your surroundings and make sure that you are aware of what's happening so you know when God is trying to communicate with you. And so that is the first sign. This next sign is for those of us who work hard and we do our very best to better our lives, but we kind of feel stuck and we just don't know what to do at this point. It is very important that you heed this sign and that you listen to this message of wanting to slow down and wanting to kind of prepare yourself for the next thing. 9 times out of 10, what God has in store for you, you're going to need a lot of energy. You're going to need to put your all into it and your plate will be full. Things will be abundant. And before you can be prepared to accept all of these things, you need a good night's rest, or you need a good moment's rest, however long that might take. So usually this is a sign to prepare. This is a sign to kind of build your strength, and the main focus is to pour into yourself so that you are prepared for the future. And this is something that I kind of have a hard time doing still, even to this day, because I'm a mom and I'm a wife, and I also have other aspirations and goals that I'm setting to achieve, and it can be quite difficult to kind of slow down and to kind of rest because you feel as though you want to do your best and you want, to just move to the next level as quick as you can. But I learned that it is very important to rest and to take your time, and that God has seasons where He needs me to rest and He needs me to take my time. And so I'm going to share with you one of my favorite verses that I love to read when I'm feeling anxious about rest or when I feel like I don't deserve rest. Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This one has been monumental for me because I have times where I am burnt out and I just don't know where to turn, and I feel like I can't do it all on my own, and I can't do it all on my own strength. I definitely need God to kind of push me and propel me because I can't do it by myself. And so that one is very, very comforting to know that when I feel like I've done all that I could, or when I feel like I've done my best, that God acknowledges that, and that God wants me to come to Him, and God wants me to rest, and God wants me to rely on Him to kind of meet me halfway. And so make sure you get your rest and you don't feel guilty about it, because if you're feeling guilty the entire time, you're not really getting any rest. Mental rest and physical rest is very important. Now, this sign will make you very, very upset if you're not aware of the bigger picture. This sign may have you even questioning God and God's intentions, and if God is really there for you, or if God is really working for your good. But I am here to tell you, before I give you this sign, everything that happens, like I said earlier, is for your good. And this one is probably one of the largest signs that God is about to make big waves in your life. And that sign is you start losing things. Maybe you lost your car, maybe you lost a job, maybe you lost that relationship or friendship. And these things were something that you probably put your all into, or maybe something that you hold very close to you. And so losing these things were probably traumatic, or it was probably a really big deal, and you don't know where to turn in your life. And you don't know how you're going to make ends meet, or you don't know if you'll ever be able to love again or trust again. It has deeply affected you in a negative way, and you just don't know how to handle this change. Now, what I need for you to do, if this has happened to you, or in the event that this does happen to you, is I want you to change your perspective on what's happening. God is sending a flood through your life. God is washing out all of the things that you no longer need in this time. And understand that God is going to replace this with something better, something that is much more worthwhile. God is making room. Don't take it as you're losing things. See it as you're making room. God is making room for you. Stop resisting, stop fighting, and just accept what is happening. And remember to remain grateful for the things that you still have. Although you loved your car, maybe it was on its last leg and God wants you to have a better car. Or maybe that job wasn't paying enough, or maybe something was happening within your job to where it was time for you to move on and you just wasn't ready to take that step yourself. So sometimes God will make things happen on His end that are out of your control. What God has in store for us is usually bigger and better than we could ever imagine, or that we could even fathom. Or maybe that relationship was toxic and you have a better relationship in store. Or maybe that friend was saying things behind your back that God heard that you didn't hear. And God is removing them from your life to replace them with better people. All I'm saying is have an open mind that God has something better in store, and it is more important at this time to have faith. And although those feelings are natural and you are allowed to feel those feelings, understand that it is important to, at some point, develop that faith that things are going to get better. So take comfort in knowing that something better is in store for you when you lose things, because this is God sending a flood in your life to clear things out and make room for better things that you probably prayed for, or things you probably haven't even prayed for, but it's bigger and better than you could have imagined. So have faith. And so I'm going to read you an excerpt from Deuteronomy chapter 30. If any of you are driven out of the farthest parts under heaven, from there the Lord your God will gather you, and from there He will bring you. Then the Lord your God will bring you to the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it. He will prosper you and multiply you more than your fathers. The last sign is just a feeling. Maybe you have a feeling that things are going to work out, or maybe you have this unusual wave of optimism, or this unusual feeling of calmness. There have been times where something crazy has happened to me, and I'll have this unusual feeling of calmness. It's like this innate knowing that things are going to work out just fine, and understanding that I do not have control over everything, and that I've most likely done my best in the situation, and knowing that God is about to meet me halfway, even though it may not look like things are working out in that moment. Usually when I have this level of faith, things work out even better than I've imagined. And so one of the biggest signs is really just a feeling that everything is going to work out. Deep down, your spirit knows that God is about to show up and show out for you. You may also have this inner feeling that there is more to life, and that whatever you have in store, God is about to make it happen for you. And so when you have that inner feeling, that instinctual feeling that your life is going to become greater because you've been putting in the work and you've put that faith into God, you move with a different sense of purpose, and you know that things are going to work out. And so when trials and tribulations come your way, you're unmoved by it, because you know at the end of the day that this is just a part of the journey, and that you will reach your goals regardless. And even if you don't have the optimistic feeling, I want you to take a moment and to allow yourself to express whatever emotion you're feeling. It is okay to feel something other than happiness, because we are human. But I also want you to pray for peace and to pray to God and let God know how you're feeling. Be honest with God no matter how you're feeling, and ask God for peace, and ask God for clarity, and ask God to provide signs that things are going to be okay. I think one of the more appropriate verses would be Hebrews 11:6. And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. And so I hope this video provides comfort to those of you who may be going through a hard time, or you may be feeling stuck and you just don't know what to do next. Half of the time, this usually means that you are in a season of preparation. You are in a season of rest. You are in a season before the abundance of gifts that God has for you comes pouring down. So I want you to remember to always have faith and know that everything is working for your good. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.